It's not a bad move. Okay. It's not a bad move. I don't feel that way at all. I wouldn't classify it as a loss in that regard. The only way, as I reiterated earlier, where the loss comes in is that he wanted to reshape the market. Yeah. He did it. Listen, not just what he said publicly, but what he said to me directly and privately. Not privately, but he said it to me on the record, just one-on-one. That's what I mean by that. He said, I'm not just a running back. And I don't want to be seen as just a running back, and I don't want to be paid as just a running back. If you recall, Jimmy Graham had that issue when he was looking for money from the Saints years ago. And he was like, you know, I'm not just a tight end, I'm a wide out. He was trying to change the position because there was more money if you didn't classify him as a tight end. So somehow, some way, the NFL has gotten away with not just looking at you as a talent. They've gotten away with specifying your talent to such a degree that you're enabled to be pigeonholed financially. In other words, we don't pay anybody at this position more than X amount of dollars. Le'Veon Bell was on a mission to debunk all of that, to eradicate all of that. And I don't think he was successful here. He didn't get the $45 million in guaranteed dollars or more like Todd Gurley did. He got $35 million. And not only that, he was still paid as a running back. So in that respect, he didn't accomplish either goal. It's still a good move. He still got $35 million in guarantees. He's in the New York market. I think he'll benefit exponentially off of that. There is no denying that. He's back playing football. He's not sitting out. He's highly respected by his peers, and he got decent money. But in terms of what he said, his agenda and his objective was, I don't think there's any question he did not accomplish that. And that's the only downside to all of this as far as I can see.
I think really what he was trying to accomplish and why it's significant symbolically and why the Pittsburgh Steelers shot themselves in the foot to make a point here, to draw a line in the sand, is what he was trying to show players is even though the CBA will always be stacked against the players because we're negotiating against a monopoly in the NFL that's just legally not treated as one, even though it clearly is one, even though that's the case, there are certain ways we have leverage. The special players, Louis, as you brought up the other day, we have leverage as special players to get around some of the system. One of the ways is we can sit out our year in order to get to free agency, as long as we turn down a franchise tag. If we're not tempted to come back for the money, then we can sit out a year and get to free agency. He did, and he has a $35 million guarantee. The Steelers were offering to guarantee him $10 million. So if you ask me, did you risked zero injury? You took a year out of the wear and tear. You didn't have to add on, and you got an extra $25 million of guaranteed money. That's a win.
Yeah, it's all about perspective here, right? I mean, it's hard to say somebody lost when they have $35 million guaranteed coming to them. That's I'm not considering that an L for me. But what he was after, and Stephen A., you put this very succinctly, is that he was after something special. He was after something that was game-changing. He was trying to redefine his skill set and therefore the skill sets of those who would come after him that were very similar to his. But the NFL looks at that position in particular, unlike any other position in terms of how it views its shelf life, and statistics bear that out. And when guys are heading into their second contract, as Le'Veon Bell essentially is, and guys have the kind of wear and tear that he has in terms of the number of carries he has had and the injuries that he has suffered, and his age being where it is, although it's not on the wrong side of 30, so to speak, and him having some off-the-field issues as far as making good decisions and putting his eligibility in jeopardy, that is going to weigh against him. And those are the types of things that I'll tell you what, in negotiations, many times, more so than not, teams are looking to get the best deal for them relative to the market, and they will use whatever they need to use in order to get that best deal when it's time to go ahead and come to the negotiating table. They are not going to sit there and loud you and heap praise on you in order to drive up the price. They will look for things to suppress the price in order to get the best deal for them. And this is one of the things, and then when you combine that with the fact that he is a running back and all the issues that come with running backs as far as, again, shelf life and people's ability to go ahead and find value in the draft via second and third round players that we've seen recently, this wasn't going to work. This was a huge gamble on his part. A huge gamble because really the deck was stacked against him all along when you start looking at all these things and whether or not they would add up to him getting a record-breaking deal or not. It always was going to lean to him not getting this deal. And that's why you say now, Maybe he should have taken that deal that Pittsburgh had on the table.
And there's another point that I wanted to bring up to go right to that point. And Max, I want to hear what you have to say about this as well. Everyone ain't Le'Veon Bell. If everyone was, he wouldn't be special. He's special and still did not pull off what he wanted to pull off. So in that regard, let's make something very, very clear here. You ain't going to see too many people sitting out a season. You ain't going to see too many people passing up a $14.5 million franchise tag offer. You're not going to see anybody reshaping the market by being identified and classified differently than what they want to. You're not going to see that happen. Because if it was going to happen, tell me, Lewis and Max, tell me a better case than Le'Veon. You got a running back that had 321 carries, true. But not only did he have 85 receptions, he was the second leading receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers behind Antonio Brown. If that ain't a case, a quintessential case to say, excuse me, I'm different. I'm not just a running back. I'm not just this one position. I'm a multifaceted, multidimensional commodity that should be treated as such. If you were not able to pull that off and you're Le'Veon Bell, who the hell is going to pull it off, guys?
Todd Gurley sort of did because he's younger. Like a lot of
it. No, he was just paid as a running back. Wasn't he just paid as a running back, though?
It's hard to say. Why would you lock him up the way you did?
He's the highest paid right now.
Still as a running back.
Gurley is several years, and those are important years at that position, younger than
I'm
Le'Veon.
Just saying still as a running back.
You're talking about redefining the position. Sometimes that stuff doesn't happen overnight. Like for me, Lewis, if I was a GM, I could justify drafting a running back higher than a lot of people could because you don't have to pay him. He hits the ground running. He's not like an offensive tackle or a quarterback. You got to spend a couple years developing him. He's basically a Pro Bowler year one if he's really, really good. You get all that value out of him, and then you franchise him once or twice, and you never have to give him a big contract.
That's a whole different argument.